Hey everybody, how's it going? Stoutman coming back at you once again, and today I'm going to talk your ear off about some Blu-rays that I recently picked up. In fact, I just picked them up today, as I usually do. I mean, this is a Blu-ray collector channel, I'm not going to lie to you. But I'll tell you what, I'm probably not going to have a whole lot. Every time I say I'm not going to have a whole lot to talk about in the next few weeks, I always end up doing like a whole bunch of videos then. I always end up getting a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't expect to get, right? But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen this time. I don't think that's going to be the case this time. You might still see some videos from week to week, but I don't think it's going to be like it has been the past couple weeks where I've had like 2 or 3 videos per week to talk about like pickups that I've made, you know? And that's because a lot of the things that are on sale right now, if they are on sale, if there is any sale, are things that I already have in my collection, and it's usually not even really that good of a price. Like the sales right now, it's the doldrums when it comes to like Blu-ray and media sales right now. Late August and early September, there's not much there, and then throughout September and then into early October, you've got a lot of new releases coming out. And I will have some of those coming in actually this month. But it's going to be a little bit later than usual. So like, shit, when is the next one? That's going to be like 2 weeks from now that I'm going to do that video. I mean, it's going to be a while, guys. It's going to be a while. And until then, I'm not going to have much to talk about other than the few little pickups that I get, which is why I am doing this little video about a couple of Blu-rays that I picked up, because I literally just bought 2 Blu-rays that I wanted to get. I had my eye on them, and I was like, you know what? All right, fine. At $5.99, Best Buy, why can't you just go down to $5? Why can't you just have a $5 bin? The proverbial $5 bin. Why do you have to be $5.99 bin? Why? 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 Because, I mean, there are some titles in there that I was actually interested in. I want Grease, but I don't want to pay more than $5 for it, because quite frankly, it's not a movie I'm going to watch a whole lot of. I like the movie, but it's not a movie they're going to watch a whole lot, so I don't feel like it's worth more than $5. I'm sorry, I just don't. I've seen it a million times already. I'm probably not going to watch it that many more times in my life, and I'm getting it for my collection for, like, you know, movie watching over the next 10 to 20 years. For personally, that's the way that I look at it, you know. It's like, this is something that I'm putting into my collection that I intend to have and use over the next 10 to 20 years. And when I look at something like fucking Grease, I'm like, you know, I'll watch that a few more times, but I'm probably not going to watch it a whole lot more, and it's just, it doesn't feel like it's worth more than $5 to me. It just doesn't. So when I see it for $5.99, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's a little too expensive for me, Best Buy. I'm sorry, it's just a little too fucking expensive. Especially when you can find deals on those things. Like they have in Walmart, I think, the Saturday Night Fever and Grease double pack for $5. So technically you can get Grease for $2.50. Like, I don't want Saturday Night Fever. I don't really like that movie, and I definitely am I'm probably not going to watch that one ever again in my life. And the only one I want out of there is Grease. It makes sense to put them together. I understand that, but I don't want to buy the 2-pack just to get the one movie when I have no intention of watching the other movie in the 2-pack if I don't have to do it that way. I don't feel like I should have to do it that way. I should be able to get the fucking Grease Blu-ray for $5, especially when you've already put it down in the $5.99 bin. Why is there a $5.99 bin? I've ranted already for way too long about this subject, so let me just get on with it, alright? I actually did find a couple of titles that were pretty damn good for the price. $5.99 is not a bad price for these. They're like 2, 3 years old or something like that. And I'm sure that one of them, I almost said a couple, that's exactly how many I got. But I'm sure that one of these will drop to like $4 during Black Friday or something like that. But you know what? They're horror movies, so they're the kind of things that I want to have before Halloween. So yeah, I went ahead and decided to get, first off, Horns here with Daniel Radcliffe. Watched this on Netflix, I think it was Netflix, and absolutely loved it. I didn't know what to expect at first, but I knew it looked kind of interesting, and I watched it with my friend Skinslip, and sure enough, it's a very good movie. Like, I was surprised at how good this movie was. I mean, it was definitely something I wasn't expecting. You watch the trailer and you're expecting it to be a certain way, and in a lot of ways it meets those expectations, but I feel like it also surpasses those expectations in a lot of ways that I was not expecting. So, yeah, I mean, Daniel Radcliffe, I love all the work that he's been doing recently. This, and then he just did Swiss Army Man, which is a fucking amazing movie that I will be buying as soon as possible. So, yeah, $5.99, Horns, excellent movie. It's a good deal at $5.99, I have to say. I mean, I would love to get it for $5, but to see it for $5.99, it's like, wow, it's a fairly new movie. I think it was either 2014 or 2014, and it's a good movie. So yeah, I'll pay the $5.99 to get that in my collection as soon as possible. And keep in mind, I'm aware that mincing over something like 99 cents is kind of silly, but I'm a cheapskate, and I make no bones about that. I make no excuses about that. I admit it fully. I am a cheapskate when it comes to this stuff. Most of the titles that you see behind me, I paid like $5 or less for. Not gonna lie. Those over there, maybe not. Like, I'll be honest with you. There are some steelbooks that I got here. The Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I got those steelbooks for $5 each. Let me see if I can point out anything else that got a really good deal. Chucky Complete Collection was $20. That's 5 movies for $20, so it's like $4 a movie. Let me see here. Fuck. What else can I point to here that's just like a ridiculously... Scarface, I think, was another $5 title. Paul, where's Paul? Paul I got for $4, Steelbook, Black Friday. Spaceballs was like $10, but it came with a bunch of cool stuff. Clockwork Orange, this is like the deluxe digibook here. That was like $7.99 Black Friday deal. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you see on my shelf, I'll turn around here. That was a cheapo. That was a cheapo. That was a cheap. All of these were cheapos. All of them. Every last one of them. I got these Orange is New Black for $5 each. These were like the Louis season 1 and 2 were like $6 each. I mean, I am a cheapskate. I freely admit that. So before you get on my case, just know, like, this is the kind of guy I am. You know, it's just who I am, and I am not ashamed of it. It's just who I am. The last movie that I ended up getting here from Best Buy from their $5.99 bin was Monsters Dark Continent, to go along with, if I can find it here on the back here, to go along with another cheapo that I got for like $4 or $5 for this one from Go Hastings. May they rest in peace. But yes, now I have the sequel here, Monsters Dark Continent, which, again, I saw this, I believe, on Netflix, and it was actually really good. It's honestly more of a war movie than it is like a sci-fi movie, but it's a kind of sci-fi war movie. But it's not the kind of sci-fi war movie that you might be expecting. It's not Starship Troopers. It's immediately what you can think of when you think Monsters, Dark Continent, a monsters movie with like these bug-like aliens in a war setting of some sort. You're immediately thinking Starship Troopers. I know, but it's not Starship Troopers. It's more like if you had Catherine Bigelow direct a sci-fi horror movie, which she has done before, like she did Near Dark and Strange Days. But you have to imagine Catherine Bigelow now doing one of those kinds of movies, because she did Zero Dark 30 and she did The Hurt Locker, right? And that's very much the kind of war movie this is. It's kind of like a Zero Dark 30s or Hurt Locker kind of war movie. It's a modern war movie, very modern war movie. And it's honestly almost more of a modern war movie than it is any kind of horror or sci-fi movie. There are elements of sci-fi and horror in it, but it's really like they really play heavily on the war aspect of it. And actually it's a really good movie for that. They actually did a really fucking good job with the war aspect of the genre that they're working in here. I felt like they didn't go as far as a lot of horror fans probably wanted them to go, or sci-fi fans for that matter, into those genres for it being based on a sequel to this. But it was still a really good movie, and I was still really happy to see what they did with it, right? I mean, granted, it didn't necessarily follow directly in the footsteps of its predecessor. It kind of veered off and tried to do its own thing and became more of a war movie than it did a sci-fi / horror movie. But even though that may be the case, and even though a lot of people might not have wanted to see that happen, regardless of that, they managed to fucking make something really fantastic with this movie. I have to say, I probably actually like this a lot better than the first movie in a lot of ways. So, I mean, I don't know. I like both of them, but if I had to pick which one I'm probably going to watch a lot more, it's going to be Monsters Dark Continent, because it's a really good war movie. I can honestly see myself watching this along with things like Zero Dark 30, The Hurt Locker, or even something like Full Metal Jacket. So, yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to pop this in right now. It's a really good movie. And for $5.99, that might be one of the better prices I've seen for this so far. So, yeah, not a bad one for the $5.99 bin, but I've gone on as far as I need to about the $5.99 bin. Most of it is me being a cheapskate, but it's also me wondering, when are they going to finally drop the thing to $5 for crying out loud? Because the problem is, I go into places like Goodwill now, and Goodwill sees the $5.99 bin at fucking Best Buy, and they think, well, that must be the new low price for Blu-rays. And they actually raised their price. I'm not even fucking shitting you. They raised their prices on Blu-rays from what they were at like $4 to $5, depending on the title, to now every Blu-ray that I see there is $5.99. Every single one. Every time I find a Blu-ray there, $5.99, $5.99, $5.99. Even if it's a title that I can literally go to fucking Target and get for $4.75 or something crazy like that, brand new, it will still be in Goodwill. If I find it there, it'll be $5.99 used. That's another rant entirely. I don't even know if I'm going to go to Goodwill anymore, because it is just getting fucking ridiculous dealing with them. Their prices for used items have gotten completely ridiculous. Just completely outrageous. I'm sorry. No. Your DVD, your used DVD is not worth $4 or $5. And your used Blu-ray is not worth $6 or $7. Go fuck yourself. I pay less than that everywhere for these titles. At a fucking pawn shop I can get a better deal than that. A pawn shop. You should be trying to beat the pawn shops, Goodwill, not trying to make yourselves more expensive than them. Like, why in the world would anyone shop at Goodwill if everything is overpriced? I don't understand. And really, everything has become overpriced. Not just the stuff that you get at the register, which, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but everything, like all the food items up there, are way overpriced. It's like you're going to a movie theater, but you're in a Goodwill. I don't understand it. Goodwill my ass. But again, I'm ranting. This might just have to be titled the Stout Rants video. I don't know. I'm going to have to come up with a weird title for it. But yeah, that'll be it for me. That's all I wanted to say about. I can't believe I went that long about two fucking $5.99 titles. I hope nobody unsubscribes from me for being that long-winded, but regardless. Thanks for watching it, guys. Catch you later. Peace.